Welcome back. I'm going to try to solve some more puzzles because I need the work, and feel free to follow along. Okay, last time we made it to 1653, but then failed the final puzzle, so we ended up at 1642 to end the last video. Here, our opponent has just put their queen in this corner, I suppose coming after this pawn with check. We do not have a mate here because the knight guards a7. What do we have? We have a bishop also guarding a7. Perhaps we should check with the bishop first. Oh, that was it. And then we can check here. And when the king moves over, I think that's mate. Okay. If you notice that the background on the website is different, that's because I uploaded a custom background. I finally figured out how to do that. And this is from a photo I made when my children were playing with some glow sticks one time. So anyway, hopefully that will add some color to the background of this website. Next puzzle. Okay, playing with the black pieces, we have a couple of checks here. I don't know which one is best. I think we should check with the rear rook first. If we check with, move the front rook back to check, then we can't get the other one down there. So that's what makes me think we should check with this rook first. Actually, that would just be checkmate. I should have seen that a lot sooner. I kept thinking, where would the king move to? But no, that was just checkmate, and it took me too long. So, all right. Now, what do we have here? Our pawn is cutting off that square, which is very interesting. We can, I think, check here. And then here, and then here, and then there. Okay, I didn't talk my way through that just because if I'll back up and do it again. At first I was thinking to check with the queen, but then I saw that their queen could block. So that's why I checked with this rook first, because that cuts the queen off. My queen is cutting their queen off from blocking on the H file. And I knew that would force their king to go back. And then once it did, it would be too slow, I thought, for me to try to, once their king was back here, for me to try to work my way around. So it made sense to sacrifice the rook for the bishop in order to bring the king back, and then I could check here, and that would be mate. So that's what we did, and like so, and that kept their queen from being able to be involved in the puzzle. Okay, whoa, they just took something down there. What do we have here? Do I have anything? Let's see. Oh, I have a fork. Do we think that's it? I think that's it. Oh, forgot about that. Oops. Should I check here with the... I should check with the rook. Honestly, yeah, honestly, I didn't see the bishop. So I got lucky that turned out to be the right move. Well, I think I have to check with one of these two pieces, don't I? Which one would be best? I think the rook would be best in case they block with the queen. And then I will pick up the bishop. No, it was just taking the bishop first. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's not taking the queen, because that's, so far we've just had 2 even trades. And I know it's not this, because that would be checkmate. Is it this check? Okay. Well, I lost some points for that puzzle. Apparently I missed several things, like the fact that the bishop could come back. I had no idea what to do there. Okay. So I need to take my time. Okay. This is very interesting that the opponent's 3 of the opponent's pieces are behind my king, but I'm not currently in check, which may have been what the problem was with that move. I can check here, but then the king would just have 2 choices. Let me think about this. Oh, I think I can check here and then win the rook. Okay. And checkmate. Okay. Not too bad. It took me a second to see that discovered attack. It wasn't a discovered check. I heard somebody on a video the other day, somebody who knows a lot more about chess than I do, calling that a discovered check, but the check wasn't discovered. It was the attack on the rook that was discovered, if I'm understanding it correctly. Next puzzle. Okay, we have an endgame puzzle. Again, there are only a few options here, and that's one thing that I do like about endgame puzzles, because we only have a king and a rook and 2 pawns. So there's not that much to figure out. One option would be to take the rook. They would take back. And then I'm not sure. I really am not sure. I'm almost wondering if it isn't best to move the king to protect the rook first. No, the pawn's already... No. See, the pawn protecting the rook isn't good enough, because if we do something else, like move our h-pawn, and they take our rook, and we take with our c-pawn, then their king is right there behind it, and yes, we can get there, but then we're moving backwards. We need to be in front of that pawn. That's why I was wondering if maybe king to e6 isn't an okay move, because if they take, then we would take here, and our king would be ready to get in front of our pawn, and then we could shepherd this pawn down. If we take their rook first and they take back, then we can't get here. We have to go here instead, and then their king goes here, and then we have to go here, and we end up in a lot worse situation. So that makes me hesitate to take the rook, because our king will be here and their king will be there. And then what would we do? Just move this pawn, and then they would move that pawn, and then we're kind of stuck. In fact, maybe even moving here might be best. And then taking their rook. And then if they take our rook at this point, we take here, and we're on our way to being in front of the pawn. That's what I'm going to try, and we'll find out. If it's not good, we'll find out why. Okay, it was not. Okay, well, then was it taking the rook? It was. And then what? Going for those pawns? And letting them have this one? Or should we check to force them further away? Oh, no, just let them have it? Okay. Well, let's go back to the analysis board. Switch over to the analysis board here. And it was dead drawn, according to Stockfish, until they played that. Okay, and our only move that maintains what advantage we got was taking the rook. What was wrong with this? That takes us back to drawn, it says, because they would take our rook, and of course we would take back. And then they're going to advance their g-pawn. I think maybe it's because they have the opposition here, so we can't actually shoulder them aside. And if we advance our pawn, they're going to get in front of it. Okay. Okay, I see that now. Let's go to the next puzzle. we've only been at this 10 minutes. I feel like I've done more puzzles than normal for this amount of time. Okay, we are in check. I don't think we should take because they'll take back with the pawn, which will expose this. But if we move out of check, they're going to get our bishop. I mean, we can go here to get out of check. And that way, if they do take our bishop and we take back, it'll be, the pawn will be protected by our king from over here. But we do have to move out of check. I think that would be bad because then they would take our bishop with check, and when we took back, they would win our pawn as well as the bishop. So I think that's the only move that makes sense. Oh my, it was not the only move that made sense. Some other move made sense. What was it? I have no idea. Hint. It was taking with the rook. Okay, so I immediately dismissed that because of this. Oh, the rook is hanging. Okay. So now yeah, when their knight moved, it exposed their rook. And I did not see that. So it didn't matter that their rook would be aiming at our pawn because of this. Okay, next puzzle. And we are now lower than where we started the video, but this happens when you try to go quickly, and that's what I've been doing, was going quickly, because I thought I was at a point in this rating climb where I could do that, but apparently I cannot. Apparently I have to go more slowly. Okay, well, this is just checkmate. All right, and that one, yeah, it gave me a 1,000 rated puzzle because it felt bad that I'd missed the last couple. You had to notice that their queen was pinned, and that so the knight can check here and the king can't move. So that's checkmate. Oh wow, and even though I saw that very quickly, I only got 5 points for it. Okay. Well, for once I have the piece advantage here. I could protect my bishop and check by moving here. I think any other check loses the bishop, right? If I check down here, I lose the bishop. If I check over here, I lose the queen. So that would be bad. Same thing if I check down here, I lose the queen. So I think it makes sense to check here on e2. In that case, I'm pretty sure their king would not go back because then I would have mate. So I'm pretty sure that if I checked on e2, their king would go toward my king. And then what? Or should I bring my king first? Should I bring my king first? I don't think so, because that gives them time to check. For example, they could check here. I could block with the bishop, I guess. That would be a possibility. Because if I check first and they go there, then what follow-up do I have besides this very strange thing where they go around? Oh, then I would win their queen. Okay. I just had to follow it out a couple of moves. You had to go around the bishop until we could line up with the queen. Okay, and I only got 5 points for that one. But I am slightly ahead of where I started the video, so that's good. And please forgive me, but I am trying to not pay attention to the rating points. Except that when I post the videos, the rating points often help viewers determine whether that puzzle is in their range or not. And also it helps me to put them in order. So if I go down in rating, it's a weird title. But yes, I am trying to solve the puzzles. So I do have a check here. Yes, I am playing with the black pieces. I had to check the title there. Okay. In that case, the king would go here, and then I could check here, and that would be mate. I think that would be checkmate. Okay, and again, I did not solve that fast enough to get any extra points. But yeah, here of course, my rook is guarded by the knight over this way, and my rook blocks off these squares, my knight blocks off that one, and my pawn blocks off this one. So, and my pawn protects the knight. So all the pieces working together. Next puzzle. What's 15 minutes? All right. They have just taken our pawn. We are playing with the white pieces, and we're down a full rook. So there must be something here. For one thing, we could take the queen. We could take the queen. But then we would just have a queen versus two rooks, and that's not always great, is it? I'm wondering if we shouldn't check. So our queen is hanging right now. If we check, I don't think they will block with the queen. But the king wouldn't be able to go there. The king would have to go to one of these three squares over here. Because our queen, of course, would be hitting both of those from where its current position. So we check with the rook. The king would have to go to the e-file if it didn't block with the queen, which I don't think it would. And then if it went to the back rank, no, I don't know. That's maybe it's this check. Maybe it's this check. I think it's that one. I think take the queen with the rook. When the king takes back, I'll check on a7 and win their other rook. Okay. Yeah, at the beginning, it took me a second. I was not seeing that tactic fast enough. Okay, we are seriously down on material here. We're down a rook and two minor pieces, but apparently we have something really great. I'm gonna guess it's a check. Is it this jack here? Because our bishop guards that square. If we did check here, where would the king go? The king, of course, could not go here, 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 here. It would still have three choices from there if we checked with the queen. If we checked with the bishop is blocking off those squares. The queen is blocking off all of these. I don't know why it selected that. And the king would only have one legal move. Also, I was really slow to see this. I can just check by taking the knight. But then the king has too many squares that it can escape to at that point. So I think this is the best. Bishop to h6. And that leaves the king only one square to go to. Then we check by capturing the knight, and the king, they could block with the bishop, but then we would take it. The king would have to move here, and that would be mate. I'm pretty sure. Okay, again, not sure why that's selected. Okay. Oh, that one's target time was much higher. I think you can see that at 53 seconds. And I solved it fast enough to get several points for it. And that puzzle was rated 1840. So it gave us a couple of puzzles rated pretty low, but now it's starting to give us higher rated puzzles again. And we are 20-something points above where we started. Let's keep going. Next puzzle. Rook versus rook in an end game. We are playing with the black pieces, and we are down a pawn. So there are a few checks here. Two that aren't really bad. This one looks really bad, right? Because they would just take it. But this one doesn't look horrible. It could also end up picking up this pawn. The king couldn't come forward because of our pawn, so it would be forced to the back rank someplace. Well, not there. To one of those squares. But what about this first? I want to go back. I think this one might be better because this rook is cut. Sorry. The other rook, the rook that would remain on the E file, is cutting off all of these squares, and the rook that we just moved to the D file would be cutting off all of these. Would force the king to one of those squares. And then we could move the other rook to whichever one to check. If we checked first with this one, that forces the king to the back rank. And then we could move over, but if it had gone over to C whatever, then this other rook move wouldn't be a check. Oh wait. If it went to the back rank, we would just check again. And then when it came back up, we would check with the other rook here. And that would be mate because the king can't come forward because of this pawn. Oh, well, it went around that way. All right. Well, I suppose now we have to check over here. And our king and pawn cut off all these squares. So that's mate over there. But only because of our king and our pawn blocking off squares here. And this rook continuing to hit those squares. Okay, next puzzle. It's looking like we will not get to 1700 in this session unless I get very lucky in the next few minutes. But again, the main idea is to learn chess, to get better at tactics. I have a check, I have a check. Both of those are safe. This and this are also checks, but are not safe. Same with these. I like this one because it gives some room for the rook to come over. Like maybe to here. But if I check here, the king has so many options. For one thing, they could block with the rook. Not there, but here. And again, I'm down on material. I could check with the rook here. I think that might be better. The rook can already get there. And my queen is blocking off all of these squares right now from the king. And my rook then would hit those squares, which would leave only one legal move. And then I could check here, but then the king would be able to come up because the squares that are blocked off would be different. But then that would be mate. Because of these two pieces blocking off the squares that my queen is hitting this way and through the diagonal, and the enemy's pieces are cutting off the other two squares. There's a name for that one. Again, I don't remember if that's the dovetail mate or the swallows mate. Somebody tell me in the comments, please, down there. I don't know why we say the comments down below. Why do people say that? You know where the comments are, right? Okay. But yeah, if you know the name of that, let me know. Thank you. Next puzzle. Okay, we're down 2 pawns, but otherwise equal on material. The rook is not hanging. Because the queen is protecting it. However, I'm attracted to this check here. Queen captures on f2 check. Because yes, I know that the rook could capture back. However, our other rook that currently is in trouble could then check on the back rank. And when their rook returned to the back rank to block that check, we would have the final rook to come all the way down and deliver checkmate. That's my plan. Oh, they blocked with the other rook. I don't know why they did that, because it doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah. They're going to move this one down, and then it doesn't matter which rook we move after that to this square. That would be checkmate. And that's why the puzzle didn't continue one more move, because after that, both of those moves would have equal value, and puzzles tend to only go as far as there are only moves. But whenever there's two moves that are equally good, then the puzzles stop. Okay, I've got 8 in a row since I missed those 2 in a row. And got a time for a couple of more puzzles, and if I get one more right, we're going to break 1700, and I promise I will stop there. Even though I'm not concerned with the rating. Didn't I say that already? It's habit. I'm a piece ahead. That's unusual. Okay. I don't think it's a good idea to check here because the pawn would capture. Right? I don't think that's good. Also, what's so bad about just taking that rook? Why would that be bad? Is this one just a hanging piece? Because in a game, I would take the rook right now. Without hesitation, I would take the rook. Is this a stalemate? No, it would not be a stalemate. Their king would have legal moves at that point. We're not there, because our bishop's guarding that square. So if we take the rook, then the king only has one legal move. And then we would take the pawn. Like, how is that bad? I mean, we could take the pawn now. But then I assume they're going to check us. And then we could block, but then they still have the rook. So I think taking the rook has to be it. Because I don't see a checkmate here. Okay, see how that says target time? 17 seconds, and it's rated 1890, even though it was just taking the rook. I'm willing to bet that people much better than me, maybe, have failed that puzzle just because it's too obvious. Well, in a game, I would just take the rook, but wait, this is a puzzle. There's something more complex. And so I spent time looking at, is there a stalemate trap? What happens if I do this? Because it can't be as easy as just taking the rook. I'm willing to bet that's why the target time is 17 seconds instead of like 3 seconds. And I'm willing to bet that's why the puzzle is rated that high, because there were probably a lot of people who thought, I should just take this pawn and see what happens, or something like that. But it was just as easy as taking the rook. Okay. Also, that puzzle hasn't had a lot of attempts yet, so I'm guessing its rating's going to come down. But that's as far as I'm going to go today. We did break 1700. And we figured some things out. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.